Today, we're making one of the most elusive burgers ever cooked. A creation lost to legend and time itself. That's right, I'm talking about... Okay, so the Sasquatch Burger is a monstrous and satisfying burger suitable for Bigfoot himself. And it utilizes some key toppings that a Sasquatch could easily find in his or her natural habitat. So let's get cooking, and a little later on I'll explain the story of why I even own a Sasquatch costume in the first place. And no, I didn't just buy it for this video, cause that would be insane, right? Anyway, first we're gonna sort our toppings. Now, onions can absolutely be found in the forest, which is definitely a Sasquatch's natural habitat. I'm gonna slice half a yellow onion into these nice vertical pieces. We want them to have a little body, but still have a chance to soften and get a nice bit of caramelization to them, because we're gonna saute them in a pan alongside a collection of mushrooms. And you know what? I'm realizing these Sasquatch hands are not sustainable, so screw it. We all know I was faking it anyway, so there you go. Here are my real hands. Anyway, back to the mushrooms. I've got some king oyster mushrooms, a large portobello, and some shiitakes, which I'm gonna slice all into even sizes. I know without a doubt that Bigfoot is getting down on some mushrooms in that forest, so it would be a great disservice to both him and us to omit them. We want them to have some body to them, but not be so big that they steal the show. I'm gonna get these into a pan on medium-high heat with some olive oil. And we're gonna kickstart the sweat down phase with some salt. And I'll also add in some cracked black pepper while we're here. I love adding mushrooms to a burger because they contain a lot of natural glutamates, which enhance the umami and overall experience. Keep them moving around for a few minutes, and once we get some solid color, I'm gonna add some fresh thyme and some bourbon for a little moisture and that oaky, woodsy flavor. Then I'm getting a nice pat of butter, and we're gonna let these keep going for another 5 to 10 minutes or so. We still want them to retain some moisture. We're not going for onion jam today, but I got another video on that if you wanna check it out. Okay, now that the mushrooms and onions are done, next we're gonna get some thick applewood smoked bacon onto the pan. Now, I know what you're thinking, but you can't tell me that there aren't a few wild hogs in those woods. At the very least, maybe old Bigfoot got a bit handsy and poached a piggy or two from Farmer John. Either way, I like to cook my bacon on a medium to medium-low heat so that the fat renders nicely and evenly. Take your time with this. Nothing worse than burnt edges and a chewy interior. Once you see some tiny bubbles forming, you're just about there. Alright, next I'm gonna toast some brioche-style buns in a touch of the leftover bacon grease. Just remove the bulk of it with a paper towel. And while these toast, I'll tell you the story of how I came to own this costume. So, I got a buddy. He's pretty gullible and he actively believes that Bigfoot is the real deal. Well, who am I to tell him it's not? Either way, he never shuts up about it, so I figured it would be a good idea to purchase a Sasquatch costume online, take him on a hike, and secretly plant my other buddy somewhere along the trail to give my old pal a nice surprise. A little while into our hike, we heard the brushing of some leaves and the snap of a twig. We turn around to see the Sasquatch menacingly staring at us from the middle of the trail. And needless to say, my friend ran for the hills screaming, and the Sasquatch disappeared into the woods, never to be seen again. Now, that Sasquatch costume cost me $100, and I'll be damned if I'm not gonna get my money's worth. Which is why we're here today. Okay, so we got a nice toast on our buns. It's time to get our patties going. I've got 2 oversized 80/20 beef balls here that I'm gonna make into monstrous smash burgers. You can pack them semi-tightly, but don't stress too much about it. I've got a cast iron pan preheated on high heat. I'm gonna add a light layer of neutral oil here for lubrication, and I'm using avocado oil. Then get each of the meatballs into the pan. Then with some parchment and the help of something heavy, smash them down into a 1/4 inch thickness or whatever thickness you desire. A good rule of thumb is to shoot for about 1 inch or so thicker than the diameter of your buns to compensate for shrinkage. I'm calling these smash burgers because I'm sort of smashing them down, but typically smash burgers are much thinner, like almost paper thin, and prioritize crust over a meaty interior. But when it comes to Sasquatch, I just think he'd appreciate something with a little more substance. Also, this is a good time to liberally season with some salt and pepper. You just don't want to salt before forming the balls unless you want to wind up with sausage patties. Now we just gotta wait to get a nice crust/Maillard reaction going. And once you're there, give them a flip, followed by some Munster cheese. See what I did there? All jokes aside, Munster melts really nicely and has a rich, savory, and buttery flavor. I like to cover it up at this point and let the cheese melt and the meat cook for about another full minute until I remove them. And we're in the home stretch. It is now assembly time. To our bottom bun, I'm gonna get on some mayo. Japanese mayo is my favorite. No need to go crazy here, but I like a nice layer. Then we'll get on both of our patties. See what I meant about shrinkage? I think these have the perfect amount of overhang. Next we'll go on with 3 strips of our crispy but not overly crispy bacon. And we'll finish it off with our mushroom medley and sauteed onions. And don't be afraid to really pile these on. Followed by our top bun, of course, with the Sasquatch hands back in anticipation of the thumbnail photo. And there you have it. All jokes aside, this is a fantastic burger for when you're feeling a bit primal. There's still some semblance of balance. The earthiness of the mushrooms plays nicely off the smokiness of the bacon, and the creaminess from the cheese and Japanese mayo complement the flavor of the beef. Alright, let's see how we did. Now I'd say that's worthy of any Bigfoot. Just don't leave yours sitting too long at the campsite. Well, alright. It's been a weird one. Thanks for sticking with me. Like, subscribe, and till next time, I'll see you guys later.